Hi, welcome back to Rebel Health. I am Dr. Ellen Vora, a holistic psychiatrist based in New York City, currently sitting on a porch in Nelson, New Zealand. And I want to touch upon a little bit of an interesting topic that I haven't thought about really until a couple days ago. I have so many patients who have urinary symptoms, particularly women, who have urinary frequency, urinary urgency, who have a lot of what's called nocturia, or waking up in the middle of the night to pee, and just a lot of discomfort with all things urinary. They feel like they have chronic UTIs. They are often thinking even things like there's candidal overgrowth in the urinary tract, and I'm open to all of these possibilities, but I've always wondered, like, why the heck is this happening? And I had like a head scratching moment the other day because I'm in New Zealand. I've been doing a lot of hiking, and when you hike, TMI, when you pee, there's no bathroom, you squat in the woods and you pee. And I'm always a big fan of these more native bodily movements, like squatting to poop and squatting to pee, and squatting to give birth, because I think this is how things were happening for human bodies before we started creating the throne of the toilet and the throne of the hospital bed for labor. And I think human bodies don't actually perform as well in these modern throne situations. So I've kind of gotten hip to this when it comes to laboring, that you want to be on all fours, you want to be squatting to help open the pelvis to allow for a baby to come out. I've gotten hip to this when it comes to going number 2, because I'm a big advocate of the Squatty Potty. It's like a under $30 non-invasive little piece of plastic that can completely change your life. And I've had all these patients with irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, and alternating constipation and diarrhea who have gotten a Squatty Potty, and it's changed their life because now they have complete evacuation when they go to the bathroom, and everything starts to work more smoothly in their body. So just now I started to think, like, ew, could this have something to do with all of these urinary symptoms? When I'm squatting to pee while hiking in the woods, I realized this feels like a more complete evacuation than what happens on the toilet. And it's never in a million years occurred to me that there might be inadequate evacuation happening when it comes to urine on the toilet. That always felt like, okay, that's done. There's no ambiguity around that. But now I started to feel the sensation of what it could be, a more complete evacuation. And I'm starting to think this could really have to do with all these urinary symptoms. So what can happen if you have residual urine left over in the bladder, even if it's a tiny amount after you pee, is that can become basically food for bacteria and for yeast. And they can just hang out there in that standing water that's kind of full of some nutrients, and they can start to overgrow. So then you have inflammation, you have an irritated bladder, you have some of those microbes starting to encroach on the urethra, and you have all these urinary discomfort and urinary symptoms. So it may be that this has to do with incomplete evacuation of urine, which itself may have to do with the fact that we're all peeing on thrones rather than squatting in the woods. So I don't have an easy answer or solution to this one. Even in my own life, I've been really thinking, like, how can I incorporate squatting to pee in my day-to-day life? And even with a Squatty Potty, it's still a little bit challenging, because really it's not quite the same as when you get low to the ground in the woods and squat. But I want to just invite people to start thinking about that. If you're someone who has chronic urinary tract infections, or you suspect you have inflammation of the bladder, or cystitis, or you have candidal overgrowth of the urethra, or any of these symptoms, urinary urgency, urinary frequency, lots of peeing in the middle of the night, just start to open up to the idea that you might have incomplete evacuation, and see if squatting can get you a more complete evacuation. And so I hope that's helpful, and we'll see you next time on Rebel Health.